But I have to tell you,
You've been scammed.
At first, as a Nigerian guy, I shock. I say, who has the effort,
To scam.
the temerity to scam a Nigerian man like me? Ha!
Hey there, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Princess and I'm with my husband. His name is
Collins.
So we're finally ready to share our relocation story. We're not gonna bore you with all the packing and getting ready and all that stuff. I'm not gonna bore you with all that. I'll just go straight right into when we arrived the UK, and it's our excitement turned into a rental scam. So while we were in Nigeria during our biometrics, we were given a UK SIM card. So that was the SIM card we had with us. And when we arrived Heathrow Airport, of course, we swapped our SIMs in our phones, and then take it from there.
And then we tried to call, but before then, we need to talk about how we got the place we decided to rent. But once you go to the YouTube or you speak to anyone, the first thing they just tell you is get an Airbnb straight. And so we decided, you know what? So we tried to reach out to a couple of people because I have a couple of friends here already, and it all was just one story to the other and all that. So we're not gonna come to the UK and sleep outside. So we decided, you know what? Let's just go for an Airbnb. So we started to look into the various Airbnbs, right? And at the time, some of them were very expensive. No, we looked on general Airbnb. I downloaded the app. You know, some of them were very expensive. So then we decided, you know what? Let's go and look at Booking.com. So we went to Booking.com and I found an Airbnb that wasn't too far away from the airport because I didn't want it to be too far away from the airport. So that from there we could know what we're going to do next. It's not like we already had somewhere in our head where we wanted to stay, because her school was in London and we knew it that we were not going to live in London, at least for starters. With that being said, we decided to look into Booking.com, and you know, they told us how much we had to pay. I contacted my friend and he paid for it. We sent him the money, he made the payment for it and everything. And we paid at least, I think, about 800,000, and it was for about 2 weeks. So we felt that 2 weeks should be enough for us to settle down, get my BRP, get our BRP, and then
we'll actually
decide what we're going to do next. And so we did that. And then, so when my friend called me, I was like, don't worry, we have a place. It wasn't like anyone was offering us a place, we were just telling them. And so we went to the airport in Abuja, we took our flight, you know, said our goodbyes to our family. And we landed at about 4-5 p.m. around that time, and immediately we landed, we're like, you know, let's get a taxi to the said address, which is the place we paid for that this Airbnb in question. And then we took a bus. I think it was about £40 or so, £40, £50, and the guy dropped us off from the airport. But on our way there, put my SIM card in my phone and I tried to call the number that was in the Airbnb page. So a lady took my call and she said, oh, you booked an Airbnb for today and all of that. You know, really notice or remember.
Yeah. She was like, oh, today.
And then she looked at it again and she said, oh yeah. And all that. So I said, okay. And she said, well, you could just head to the address. Right, and you'll be sent information on how to
get the
keys and get in.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. Immediately that happened, I quickly went online to check how you're supposed to get into an Airbnb, and it showed that really some Airbnb don't need anyone to open it for you to get in. They have like a passcode, they just need to pass the door for you and you go in.
Yeah.
And so okay, that my mind was at ease for a bit. And then in like 5 minutes time she called me again and she said, there was a service charge that we didn't pay, so we have to pay. And if you convert the service charge at that time to naira, it was about 200 something thousand.
Yeah.
It was about almost 200 pounds at that time. So I said, okay, that's not a problem. We're going to pay it. But then I tried to transfer money from my Nigeria account so that they could change some naira for me to pounds so I could pay. And then the network was bad. It didn't go through. So we were panicking, doing all that.
Don't forget, she sent you a link.
Yeah, before then, we were panicking, trying to get the money.
Yeah.
And then we got to the place. We dropped our bags in front of the place. First relief was, look.
At least the address is real.
A real address.
Yeah.
Pictures of the door and the place was real.
Exactly what's on.
It was exactly what's on Booking.com.
Yeah. Sorry, Booking.com.
So we got down and we were like, okay, let's now try and solve this transfer thing. Then the lady now sent me a link and now said,
that's the link.
That's the link I need to follow to pay, and I need to send our passports and all that.
Yeah. And
that, when I saw that, I was like, something is off about this. Really, I don't need a link. I need something that's traceable, like a bank account and all that. Because the first payment we made it to Booking.com. Booking.com is supposed to then
verify the payment,
verify everything, and pay the other person. So I was okay with giving the money to Booking.com, knowing that there might possibly be a way to retrieve my money
if anything
happens, and if I'm able to report it on time. Okay. But then, in the middle of all this, then the biggest shock happened. The lady just walked past us, she just passed us straight and went straight to the door.
Yeah.
And then she opened the door and went in. And we're like, what's going on here? That's supposed to be our place.
Yeah. Oh, at first we're like, maybe.
So when I said, so I now spoke to you. I remember I said, maybe that's the lady we have been talking to.
Yeah.
So she went in and shut the door, right? So I now said, you know what? I'm going to go and knock, just to.
Because we're like a few steps
away from the door
and our luggage is everything.
So I knocked the door and she came out. She said, oh, hello, and she says, are you alright? And normal British style. And we're like, yeah, we're fine. And I said, I paid for an Airbnb in Booking.com.
You started with, oh, are you the one I've been chatting with?
Yeah, I asked her, I said, are you the one I've been chatting with? And she said, no, she's not been chatting with anyone.
Yeah.
I then said, oh, that's confusing. I said, because I've been chatting with someone, I even made a call and the lady took my call, and we're supposed to be in this apartment here because I paid some money for it for 2 weeks. And then she looked at us
and she was
like a bit confused, and she said, you know what, this has happened 2 weeks ago or a week ago. There's one Indian lady that came here with her family, her husband, and I'm sorry, I have to tell you, you've been scammed. At first, as a Nigerian guy, I shocked. I say, who has the effort
to scam,
the temerity to scam a Nigerian man like me? I said, well, that means that that's fine. The only advice she could give us at that point was we have to look for an hotel nearby to go to and all
then
that.
We'll report to the police or try
and then we can report to the police and all that. And so I said, okay, that's all right. But then I now tried to call that number back. You remember?
The number that has been calling us,
yeah.
You have been
but the number was not going through. At that point, it wasn't going through.
And then her spouse came.
Then from nowhere, a guy came and she said that was her fiance or her spouse or something.
That
and they live together. They live in that apartment together. And the guy was not like, oh, he's sorry about that. But there's only one thing I would say. I'm not a police. I'm not an investigator. I don't know anything. But just two people, right? They look fishy. There's something that didn't add up about that whole scene at that point.
Oh, not this.
But then we just shut that aside because that was not our
Well,
problem. Our problem was
getting where
we had
to
to
stay
sleep.
because at that
the time when saying this, it was about 8-9 o'clock already.
Yeah, 8-9 o'clock.
That's when she was actually trying to call an hotel, and we spent about 45 minutes again making those calls, and all the hotels around London, because I think it was a Friday or so, was booked, and every hotel was booked.
No, it was not Friday, it was Sunday.
It was a Sunday, it was the weekend.
Yeah.
And then she walked a bit away from us, right? Yeah. And she made a call, and she said, "Oh, she called a particular hotel, and that they said there was space there that we could go there." It was even difficult for us to book an Uber because our Uber wasn't registered to any number or anything. We tried, it didn't work. So she had to book
on our
Uber on our behalf.
At least they helped us to get away from it.
Yeah, whatever it is, they helped to get away from their door because the truth is they wanted us out of their space. Yeah, but that's what happened. At that point, you can't be in front of somebody's house at that time.
I said it was so ungrateful. They were still
yeah, okay. And so they got us an Uber, and the Uber guy
eventually went to the hotel.
And we got there, and the receptionist said there's never been space,
and there was no call to them.
There's no call to them, like they've been booked even before the weekend. And the guy said, the funny thing was, the guy said they're even booked for the next 3 months.
Yep. Unfortunately,
and that made me that then buttressed my thought about those people.
You feel like something was fishy.
But at that point, we were not interested in that.
We just wanted to.
The weather was cold, very cold. We were not used to that, and we were in our shabby jackets we bought from Nigeria. They were not even. It is what it was. That's what it was. They were not even.
It's not shabby.
They were not even good enough to.
It's not shabby.
It was not even good enough to kill the cold.
It was. It still helped. Anyway,
that being said, the taxi driver took us to another 2 more hotels.
It was really nice.
The taxi driver was nice. Yeah, he didn't charge us extra. He was a very nice guy.
Yeah.
But at one point, he's walking. Yeah. He got tired, and he said
he dropped us off in the last particular hotel. Yeah.
And we were outside. She was standing at the reception area, while I was calling one of my friends I was in.
No, you went into that particular hotel to make inquiries, and they said there was no space. So you came out and you were on the phone.
I was trying to make calls to get us somewhere.
Yeah.
And then,
as at that time, it was like 11 p.m. to 12.
Yes, around 11 p.m. to 12. That was the time then. Then suddenly, again, action movie happened.
So because we've been outside, like I've been outside with the luggages for a while he was trying to make calls and find us where we can spend the night, I was outside with our luggages everywhere. And then the next thing, I just saw a lot of cops with dogs. They were just coming towards the hotel, and I was like, did these people call to report us or something? I was really scared. I mean, now, let's not go into all that, but it was just somehow, the energy was just, first of all, the whole rental problem, and then this one. So, I didn't do anything. I just sat down there, and then they walked past me.
The dogs didn't walk past.
It was not even for me.
There was some people in the hotel.
So they got calls about the hotel and everything, blah blah blah. That's not our business though. But it was not for us.
There was something else that happened at that point. So I went to the police guys because there were many of them, like 8 of them outside.
Yeah.
So I went to them and I said, look at what happened to us. Like, we're stranded. They said it's a scam and all that. And the guy said this to me. Don't forget it. He says, buddy, that's one of those that's going to be very difficult to chase down. And he says, you know what? The first guy gave me some sense of encouragement. He said, just sort yourself out. Maybe later you could do a police report and all that. But while I was walking away, he was talking to the other guy, and I heard what they said. And he said, it's one of those that just they never get their money back. It's just done. So in me, I said, who is not getting his money back? So we kept making calls, and I was able to reach one of my friends who later went on one web page that we don't even know, and he booked an hotel for us.
Yeah.
So we had to get a taxi to get there, and that one was another tax. Taxi guy kept driving in circles.
We couldn't find the place again.
And then the taxi guy picked us up, and by this time it was like to one.
No, the taxi guy couldn't locate us. Finally, he found us. Finding the place we're going to was another problem.
Because it didn't look like a hotel. It didn't look anything like it.
The whole place was dark. Most of all the streets, they like using sensor lights, so the place was dark.
I remember you were so scared.
I was so scared. I called a friend and started crying.
We felt we were going into one haunted house. I'm telling you. But to our surprise,
when we got to the address, the driver was like, "Yeah, this is the place."
He just dropped us.
And he dropped us.
And just zoomed off.
And the street was dark. There was nobody on the road.
There's nobody on the road. It was about 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And where he dropped us was a bit far from the main house itself that he was supposed to drop us. That being said, somebody now came from the building, the door, opened the door, and that's when we're like, oh, people are there.
Oh, actually there.
But then we're still scared, like we don't even know.
People still have the video of that.
Where we are going to. We do have the video.
We still have the video.
We do, we should.
It was a very cute.
At the end of the day, when we got into the said hotel, it was nice. It was nice. And then what happened was we tried to book some more days.
Yeah.
And they said no,
really
they could only give us 1 night and so the next morning, back again on the streets
looking for
another hotel. Then we got another hotel. So we moved all the way from that side of London to Slough.
Yeah.
Where the hotel was. Which, man, was another journey. But then we got to this place and we tried to settle in. We stayed there a couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah. I think we stayed there like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think so. And then
we stayed
there like a week plus before we moved to the area where we live now.
Before we moved
to the area where we live now. But then, concerning the booking.com thing, I really started to push for my money. I wrote booking.com, right? I gave their customer care several calls, like I was on their case.
Another good thing that helped was the fact that
I had evidence.
Yes,
I had evidence every step of the way.
Chat log,
all the chats,
everything,
all the emails, the payment slips when it was made, everything. I had it. And the first customer representative I called didn't really give me any solution.
Yeah.
First set until one day I called one lady again, and the lady was really. So what that made them really answer was the day I got angry, and I sent a mail to their customer. Said, look, if I don't get a quick response from you guys, I'm going to bring booking.com out anywhere I go to. Right? I think I still have that mail. I still have that mail. I said I will go to anywhere I go to and say that I was scammed using your app. Because I'm registered to your app, I have everything. And then when I sent that mail, they called me themselves. And they said they want to resolve the problem and all that. And well, at the end of the day,
in less than, I think it was 3 days.
I got a refund from my money.
We got a refund! Yay!
I got a refund from my money back.
It felt so good because at that time we were already paying hotel bills every day.
And we needed some money, But the lesson in this really is that before you go into anything, verify. Like, make sure you verify the place.
And keep receipts.
If it's possible, send someone to go check out the place for you before you put your money into it.
Yeah, if you have people here, let them go there and verify them.
And that was the problem. I had people here, but then again, no one came through.
They were busy with their lives.
Everyone has got what they're doing, and we respect that. So, verify, and when you pay money, keep evidence.
It was even during this whole thing that we found out that you can actually book and don't pay yet until you get there. So
yes, the best option is don't pay.
That's the best option because you remember the hotel we later moved to.
Yeah,
we booked, but we didn't pay. So when we got there, we now paid.
We paid. Whatever anyone you see that you're telling you to pay, my brother, my sisters, don't pay.
Yeah.
Don't pay. Hold your money tight to your chest And when you get to the place and you are now able to see, right, that this is real, then you could pay.
Okay, but then some people are still lucky.
But then a lot of people paid and they got it.
Yeah.
But the point is, just in case, keep receipts, keep every evidence, every single
because that's how we were
evidence.
able to get our refund.
That's the only reason why we got our refund.
That was our first hurdle. So in our next video, I'm going to be sharing how my husband's PR became with no work, no business.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
But that being said, I never ever forget some few things.
Wow.
I never forget that at the end of the day, it's important that we stay grateful.
Yeah.
Everything that happened for a reason. And when we sit down today, we always look back and say, man, it was because of that thing that happened. That was why we ended up where we are now.
Yeah.
So sometimes everything happens and it happens. What's important is just go through the process. It's not going to be very easy. Trust me, it's not easy. It's not even easy in any way. But then, Israel Adesanya would say, we are here.
And they are there.